Can you even find a house along the Wasatch Front for $500,000 or less? Yes, you can. And today I am going to show you on a map of how many houses, single family homes, not townhouses, not condos, you can find along the Wasatch Front. And there's a lot, believe it or not, for $500,000 or less. And I also want to talk to you, so make sure you stay tuned. I'm going to talk about the Utah home buyer program that just got rolled out. I'm going to talk about buy down rates, and I'm going to give you some real examples of interest rates and why it matters with a variation of those. So stay tuned. Okay, so I want to jump right into it, and I'm going to share my screen with you and let you see some of the things that I'm talking about because, Utah is becoming unaffordable for a lot of people, especially people that are starting out. There's been tons of stories and headlines, unaffordable Utah and things like that. So I do want to show you, you can still find a single family home for $500,000 or less. And I'm also going to share my screen with you and tell you why you may or may not want to wait to buy for the interest rates to drop. Okay, so just to kind of give you an idea, I pulled up a search on my website. If you want to take a look, I will put my website right here below me. But this is a 2+ bedroom, single family home. This is not townhouses. This is not condos with no HOA, $500,000 or less, and 2+ bedrooms. You can see here, just in Salt Lake County, Utah County, and Davis County, 296 homes currently available for $500,000 or less in those 3 counties. And the colors just mean like there's an open house or it's new to the market, whatever. So don't worry too much about these colors, but it just goes to show there are some and a good amount of homes in those 3 counties alone that you can get into for $500,000 or less. Okay, so on this home sales graph that I pulled up, this is the median price in Salt Lake, Utah, and Davis counties for single family homes that do not include mobile homes or modular homes or manufactured. We're talking strictly single family homes. Each quarter since the beginning of 2018, you can see we pretty much go up almost this entire time. Now, we peaked here in the second quarter of 2022 with a median sales price of $620,000. Now, as interest rates started climbing, we saw sales prices go down, especially right here when the first quarter when interest rates really went up and people had to kind of adjust to this new normal of having higher prices of interest rates. Well, now you can see in the second quarter, we have already gone up almost $30,000 in median sales price from the first quarter of 2023 to the second quarter of 2023. So people are getting used to this higher interest rate. Home inventory is low because all of those people that bought their homes at 3% interest rate years ago, they don't want to give that interest rate up. So they're not listing their house right now and upgrading or empty nesters downgrading, anything like that. So our inventory is relatively low here in Salt Lake, and you kind of hear about it in many different markets as well. Overall speaking. Now, buyers, things are sitting on the market longer, so buyers can be more choosy about what they're doing. And the buyers that are in the market are very serious buyers. So it's kind of a mix with what I'm telling you. I realize that. But let's talk about this because, like I said, we have gone up almost $30,000 median sales price despite these interest rates because people have started to settle in now and are out there buying. And there's 2 scenarios that can happen when you buy a home right now at, I'm just going to say 6.5%. For this video, we're just going to say 6.5% because rates fluctuate and it depends on your credit score, your debt to income, all of that. So let's just keep it very general for right now. So what will happen is Let's say you buy a house right now for $500,000 sales price at a 6.5% interest rate. Well, one of two things can happen. Either interest rates are going to continue to go up, and let's just say, for example, I'm not saying this is going to happen or it's predicted to happen, but let's say interest rates continue to climb. And this time next year, the interest rates are 9% or even 8%. I bet you're going to be really happy that you bought now at 6.5% versus a year from now at 8 or 9%. The second scenario that can happen is interest rates go down. Let's say they drop back down from 6.5% to 5%. Well, what do you think is going to happen? Right now, like I said, buyers have the time to be more choosy because homes are sitting on the market. Well, if we drop to 5% interest rate, it's going to become a frenzy like it has been the last couple of years, which is going to naturally drive up prices. If you were at all in tune to the housing market the last couple years, despite what the list price was, because there were so many offers on a home, it just drove the prices up. And that's what I mean by the frenzy. You're kind of in between those two scenarios right now. I have a lender that I work with, one of a few that I recommend and work with often, that for my clients right now, what he is doing is, if your interest rate you purchase right now and your interest rate drops 0.25% in the next 24 months, he is waiving for a refinance the lender fees if the prices drop, or I'm sorry, not the prices, if the interest rates drop more than 0.25% in the next 24 months after you purchase. So that saves you money on a refi as well. If you are in the boat of like, oh, I'm on the fence, I don't know if I want to buy or not. What if interest rates go down in 6 months? You do have that option with the lender that I have that I'm working with. And I just spoke to him today and confirmed that he is still doing that. So the moral of the story is, if you're on the fence, this number is going to likely continue to climb, especially if interest rates go down and that market frenzy happens when all the buyers come back into the scenario, and it's going to keep driving that number up. So I want to talk a little bit about more scenarios, more actuals, because I think that's a really important aspect to understand. And you're going to see here why I'm talking about the interest rate, the increase or the decrease, and why that matters. So let's say you have the most perfect scenario there is, and you can get the best rate. You have 5% to put down on a $500,000 sales price. That means that you have $25,000 to put down on your home that you're purchasing for $500,000 at a 6.5% interest rate. So you're financing basically $475,000 for a loan. No HOA in this scenario, because obviously if you have an HOA fee, that drives up what your monthly cost is going to be. At a 6.5% interest rate in this scenario, your monthly payment is basically $3,000, and that does not include your mortgage insurance. If you include your mortgage insurance, you're closer to about $3,100 a month mortgage. Then you have to add your taxes and your insurance, which there's no way of knowing unless you have a specific property what the taxes are. So for the sake of this video, I am just going to say a general idea. If you add in taxes, insurance, mortgage insurance, everything into this scenario, you're really looking at about a $3,400 to $3,600 a month payment on that $500,000 sales price. But get this. If the interest rates were 3.5%, so 3% lower than what I said in scenario one of $3,000 a month, your monthly payment would be $2,130 per month without PMI and taxes and insurance. So that 3% difference in your interest rate is making an $1,100 a month difference basically on your payment. So if you're like me, I'm going to put this up here so you can actually see it. At a 3.5% interest rate, your payment is $2,130 per month. And at a 6.5% interest rate before your PMI and everything, you're at $3,002 a month payment. So that 3% makes a huge difference in affordability each month for people and makes a huge difference on what you're paying each month. Okay, so one thing that builders are doing, and some private parties are even willing to do this and contribute to the cost, is a buy down. And they can vary depending on what they're doing. Some new construction contractors are even paying for you to do the buy down as well. But in the scenario that I just talked about with a 3% interest rate difference and saving $1,000 a month on that difference, well, if you do a buy down, and it can vary, so I'm not going to get really specific about this. If you want to learn more about a buy down, then reach out to me. I will put you in touch with my trusted lenders that I have that can help explain a buy down for your particular situation. I actually prefer a buy down over the new Utah home buyer grant. If you haven't watched my video about why I don't like that program and why I think people are going to get in trouble with it, I'm going to put a link here so you can watch that video. I would highly recommend it if you are considering doing that home buyer grant. But back to the buy down, it gives you time to save potentially $1,000 a month on your mortgage, depending on your interest rate and what the difference is, and gives you some time to see if the interest rates are going to continue to go up or if they're going to go down further, and you can lock into a lower interest rate. Worst case scenario, again, you get to the end of your buy down term, and those months you've saved X amount of dollars, $1,000 a month, because your buy down and the interest rate being lower for that term of 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, whatever your buy down rate is. So I hope you enjoyed my video today and found the information useful for you and kind of help you gauge and get a better idea if buying right now is a good idea for you, or if you should hold out and continue renting. I don't want to push somebody one way or the other. If you have any real estate related questions and you want to talk to my lender, talk more about your specific scenario, buy down rate, anything like that, calling or texting me is best. Like I said, you can always reach out to me. I'm always here to help you. But as always, make it a great day.